Welcome to another insightful session brought to you by Mind Alchemist. Today we journey into the intricate world of the INTJ personality, unraveling the nuances of their stress responses and discovering effective strategies to support them during tumultuous times. Part 1. The quintessential INTJ. INTJs, often epitomized as the mastermind or architect in the Myers-Briggs lexicon, are a blend of rich introspection and impeccable logic. They're architects of their own worlds, building structured thoughts with a foundation of logic. The typical INTJ traits: independent thinkers. Their minds are sanctuaries, free from external influences, allowing for pure and diluted thought processes. Innovative problem solvers. They often see solutions where others see dead ends. Their mental landscape is rich with possibilities, leading them to innovate effortlessly. Conceptual enthusiasts. They don't just accept things at face value. INTJs delve deep, seeking out theoretical explanations and conceptual structures that offer a comprehensive understanding. Forward thinkers. For them, the future isn't just a concept. They're constantly calculating, making predictions, and adjusting their actions based on possible long-range outcomes. Objective critics. Self-awareness is key. They don't hold their ideas on a pedestal, nor do they blindly follow others. Every concept is dissected, weighed, and evaluated. Complex simplifiers. They see through the clutter. By cutting to the core of issues, they can simplify and streamline solutions. Public perception. To others, the enigma of an INTJ unravels as aloof but thoughtful. Their seeming detachment often hides a mind deep in contemplation or strategy. Straight shooters. They believe in clear communication. While tactful, they rarely beat around the bush. Intense focus. When an INTJ zeroes in on a task or topic, the outside world blurs. The concentration is both their strength and their signature. Opinionated yet informed. They often come with strong views, backed by equally strong data or reasoning. Part 2. The unraveling. INTJ under stress. Every personality has its vulnerabilities. For INTJs, a clash between their structured, introspective world and external chaos can manifest as distinct behavioral shifts. While some reactions may be barely noticeable, others can starkly contrast their usual composed demeanor. Behavioral shifts. Obsession with the external. INTJs, typically inward-focused, might suddenly become preoccupied with external events. For instance, they might fixate on global political events, meticulously following every update, or perhaps become unusually engrossed in neighborhood dynamics. A scatter of thoughts. Picture an INTJ, usually the embodiment of orderly thought, trying to read a book but hopping from one chapter to another, unable to stick to a linear narrative. This erratic cognitive pattern reflects a mind trying to find a foothold amidst chaos. Sensitivity spike. Imagine an INTJ who typically ignore a friend's offhand comment about their choice of attire, now brooding over it, dissecting its deeper implications, and even confronting the friend about it. Such heightened sensitivities can be both surprising and confusing for those around them. The blame game. An INTJ might normally troubleshoot a failing project by analyzing systematic flaws. However, under stress, they can start pointing fingers, attributing the failure to a colleague's minor oversight, showcasing a more defensive and less analytical approach. Overanalysis. Presented with two unrelated pieces of information, such as fluctuating stock prices and a change in office coffee brand, a stressed INTJ might construct a vast, intricate theory connecting the two, bypassing logic for the sake of creating patterns. Common stressors. While resilient, certain circumstances can challenge an INTJ's equilibrium. Data deluge. Picture them in a meeting when they're bombarded with unrelated statistics and figures. Instead of weaving a coherent narrative, they feel like they're drowning in data, unable to find meaningful connections. Routine ruptures. An INTJ's meticulously planned weekend getaway suddenly getting postponed might seem trivial to others, but for them, it's not just a change of dates, it's a disruption of a carefully crafted plan. External blockades. Imagine them engrossed in a research project when frequent power outages disrupt their flow. It's less about the power and more about the jarring breaks in concentration. Social saturation. Attending a week-long conference packed with networking events and team-building exercises might exhaust them, yearning for moments of solitude and meaningful one-on-one interactions. Disorderly chaos. An INTJ trying to concentrate in a room where a TV blares, phones ring incessantly, and people chatter might feel like a fish out of water, longing for the tranquility of their usual environment. Inefficiency encounters. Imagine their frustration using a new software at work that's riddled with bugs or sitting through a meeting led by an ill-prepared colleague. Such inefficiencies aren't just annoying, they're mentally taxing. Recognition and critic. Delivering a project they've poured their soul into, only to have it criticized without constructive feedback or worse, ignored altogether, can be a deep cut to their professional pride and personal identity. Part 3. Navigating the storm. How INTJs can manage stress. Even amidst chaos, INTJs possess the resilience and tools to find their way back to balance. The journey starts with acknowledging the presence of stressors and understanding their impacts. Strategies for equilibrium. Purposeful productivity. When overwhelmed, channeling energy into tasks like organizing their workspace or engaging in a hobby they love can be therapeutic. It's less about the task and more about the rhythm and predictability it offers. Scheduling streamlining. For an INTJ, decluttering their schedule might mean setting aside evenings just to indulge in a book or taking a day off solely for self-reflection. It's not about creating voids but carving out sanctuaries of calm. Return to logic. Imagine them journaling their thoughts or mapping out stressors on paper. Such practices allow them to dissect the cause of their turmoil, helping them navigate their way out with logic as their compass. Task triage. Ticking off tasks from a checklist, even if they're as simple as making their bed or setting out their clothes for the next day, can bring a feeling of accomplishment. It's the stability of routine that they seek. Temporal perspective. Visualizing the larger timeline of their life, acknowledging that the stressful phase is just a blip, can provide solace. Time, after all, has a way of changing perspectives. Pitfalls to avoid. Certain reactions, though instinctive, can amplify their distress. Isolation. It's one thing to seek solitude in a quiet room, but shutting out close friends or family entirely can lead to feelings of desolation and amplify internal turmoil. Assistance denial. An INTJ might pride themselves on self-sufficiency, but there are moments when leaning on a trusted individual can be both wise and relieving. Part 4. Supporting an INTJ in distress. When an INTJ is in turmoil, what they seek isn't always solutions but empathy. Understanding their unique distress language can be the cornerstone of genuine support. Effective support strategies. Validation. Picture a scenario where they voice their worries. Instead of jumping to solutions, a simple acknowledgement like "I see why you feel that way" can be profoundly impactful. Quiet presence. Imagine them lost in thought, and a friend simply sits beside them, neither probing nor advising, just being there. This silent solidarity can be a powerful comfort. Consistent treatment. In the throes of stress, unpredictability can be unnerving for an INTJ. Maintaining the regular cadence of interactions, whether it's a daily morning coffee chat or the weekly movie night, can offer a touch of normalcy. Actions to refrain from. Good intentions don't always translate to comfort. Pressure points. If they're grappling with a decision, pressing statements like "you need to decide now" can exacerbate their anxiety. Forced sociability. Pulling them into a social gathering when they're visibly distressed, thinking it'll distract them, might end up amplifying their discomfort. Unsolicited solutions. While the urge to help is natural, Bombarding them with unsolicited advice can be overwhelming. It's wiser to wait for a cue, a moment when they seek guidance. By understanding the unique ways INTJs experience and cope with stress, and by being attuned to the subtleties of their reactions, both INTJs and their loved ones can navigate these challenging times with empathy and grace. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into the INTJ personality. By gaining a deeper understanding, we pave the way for more empathetic interactions and foster stronger connections. Stay tuned for more enlightening content from Mind Alchemist, where we bridge the gap between minds and hearts.